Coming up in this episode of Press This, we introduce semantic markup for your website.
And then we go into detail about how to be successful online and on social networks.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of SEO Lunch. I'm your host, Matt.
And I'm Dan.
Dan, it's always a pleasure to see you after a nice Easter weekend.
How was your Easter,
My
Matt?
Easter was pretty good.
Good, so was mine.
Pretty good. So this is the show where we jump into all the top SEO articles posted on inbound.org. We're going to switch it up and put a new kind of method to all this madness. Pause for the cause, though. We want you to check out slocumstudio.com/subscribe to join the mailing list so you can get up-to-date information. And do hit subscribe in YouTube if you're enjoying the content. So a little while ago, we asked folks who were watching the show, what do you think? Are you using this stuff? Do you find it useful? We got some pretty good feedback.
Yeah, absolutely.
One guy told us to shut the hell up
Yeah.
and start focusing on the content. So that's what we're going to do.
it.
And others are just telling us that they love the information that we're giving out. So we do appreciate the feedback.
Absolutely.
One of the new ideas that you had, introducing a new topic, starting out, something that you would find really new and fresh to the general web marketing stuff.
Right.
And then closing off the show with a good resource.
Just a good old resource. And what we're going to start with today when we start talking is about semantic markup and why it's virtuous for you, the article being Semantic Markup is Virtuous by Will Hatman on swellpath.com.
Next article will be how to compete online against large companies and brands. Vinny La Barbera, CEO and founder of IamForza.com. This is going to be this jumping point for being the rest of the episode is all about how to be successful online.
Yep, and then we're going to talk about what community managers should do every morning for success. This is from Megan Murphy of Twilio on her blog, megmurph.com, and we're going to talk about a strategy with B2B outreach and just reaching out to people.
And how to live tweet like a pro. This is a great one. I can't wait to jump into this. Ruth Burr on SEO Moz. We're going to talk about what it's like to manage your followers, have the chat live, what topics, and all that fun stuff.
And then Phil Nottingham, the sheriff of Nottingham, is going to talk to us about the marketing value of YouTube, why you should be using YouTube if your business and your market is pursuing video ventures.
And we will close out the show with 100 inbound marketing content ideas. Chris County on marketingchris.com.
Great. So let's jump right into it.
Let us jump right into this first.
Semantic markup is virtuous. Again, Will Hatman. What this talks about is a specific concept in using search engines like Google, Bing, and Yahoo. It's a product produced or a set of code produced by schema.org that is widely accepted in HTML coding from these major search engines. And what it allows you to do is more specifically target your market when you're doing your marketing drive.
Yeah, and let's take it from a real 40,000-foot view.
Of course,
again, this is a really technical piece for those of you who are just starting out. But what this is allowing you to do is wrap certain elements of your site, of the data on your site, let's say like your contact page of your location, so that when search engines, and not just Google, but many different kinds of search engines, Yelp, TripAdvisor, Bing, all these places that crawl stuff, that when it comes to crawl the site, it knows that this address is attached to a business, like a brick and mortar business. So that helps Google map it correctly. If it's a review of a product, something like that, it says that this should be treated as a review of a product, not just a comment on a page, that kind of thing. So it helps these search engines identify and kind of organize this content so that it can search it better. So what you want to do as a small business owner is ask your web person, hey, are we doing this on our site? You know, if not, how can we start doing this? Do we need to do this? You might not even need to do it. I mean, you shouldn't in some cases, especially if you're running an e-commerce site. Definitely check out semantic markup.
Yeah, the article just shows you, like on Google, you can break it down to recipes, where it says web images, map, shopping, there's a recipe section, and then goes beyond that into ingredients, so you can exclude certain ingredients. I mean, it gets really, really in-depth, which is great.
Right. So definitely do check that out. That's our new concept of the week. Been around for quite some time, but this is something that you might want to start looking into.
Yes. And now we're going to talk about how to compete online against large companies and brands. This is Vinny La Barbera, CEO and founder of IamForza.com. And this kind of starts off or heads off our talk about how to be more successful in online spaces, social networking spaces, things like that for the day. And what this does for you as you look through this article is it just talks about strategy, using tools to track your competitors and seeing, you know, what they're hitting on, what sort of search engine stuff they're hitting on, what they're trying to rank for, people they're talking to on Twitter, places they're going, other businesses they're going to on Facebook, things like that.
Yeah. The good thing about big businesses is that it's pretty much like public data. They're out in the open. Right. They're a lot slower to change their strategies because it's just like a big business. Right. So they don't. They have all this, you know, bureaucracy they have to go through. Right. So if you're a small business, it's much easier to evaluate to see what they're doing really well for the masses, and then for you to find some kind of niche inside that. Yeah. You know, how can I do something better than them, whether it be service better than them or build a better website quicker, faster than they can because they have to go through all this red tape to get stuff done. Right. And then, of course, relying on the tools that you have, like Google Analytics and keyword research, to see what they're doing, kind of reverse engineer that, and apply it to your own.
Yeah, and I would apply it in a more high risk scenario. I mean, again, these are the guys that can't take risks. These are the guys where if they take a risk and it fails miserably, they're losing millions, potentially, you know, tens of millions of dollars, you know, because of one flub up, you know, and that's why they have to go to all these ventures, and that's why you can do that, because, you know, if you're a smaller business, you're not you know, going to be losing $10 million. Yeah, actually from.
Totally agree with you about the whole risk factor. There's things that they can't do, you know, that you can do a little bit more nimble than they are. Let's jump into the next article. What community managers should do every morning for success. Megan Murphy of megmurph.com. Interesting article. This is a new kind of old concept, right? Yeah. What is a community manager, right? You know, who is this person? Well, community manager could be you. It could be a small business owner that's managing your social media outlets. You could be a brand new SEOer, and you are managing the community for your clients. So this is a great article, kind of goes through what she does, how she breaks down her day, from listening to planning out the day for productivity through her calendar. You know, make friends on the inside, be grateful. It's all about that humanistic approach that we talk about all the time.
And I think that the nice thing about this article too is that you don't have to be specifically designated a community manager. Anybody can be a community manager. And the steps that she gives you, again, reaching out to one person a day, one of your fans, one person who's commenting to you, can make a big difference if you do that every day. Making friends with other businesses, because you can't do everything by yourself. Things like that. These are all things that can be practiced quickly in a day. So even if you are a small business owner with a few employees, you can benefit from this and you can use these tips.
And really, when you're building this organically, like when you're building out your SEO strategy organically, your web marketing strategy, you start out with, hey, what's the best platform? Let me go with Twitter because this is easy. I already got a following. And then you have Twitter and you have all these people that you talk to on Twitter. And then all of a sudden you start, okay, let me go to Google Plus. And then you start cultivating a little community over there. And then before you know it, then you got an email list going. And now you're like, okay, I got communities in different parts of the world here. Now I have to kind of have a plan for that. And you don't want to turn it into a robot, into this automated process. But you need to have a plan every day. Like, okay, who am I going to talk to first? Am I going to talk to my Twitter peeps first? Am I going to talk to my Facebook friends? What am I going to do?
It's funny because ironically, this very robotic plan of what am I going to do every day, contact one person, do all this stuff, leads to very unrobotic results, very organic results. You want to be organized, but you want your organization to benefit you in a very organic way. Quick shout out to Megan Murphy. Love the Fake Tales of San Francisco headline for your blog. I'm a big Arctic Monkeys fan as well. Moving on to how to tweet like a pro.
How to tweet like a pro. This is fun. How to live tweet like a pro. You know, we see this, or I see this a lot in my space. Hashtags flying down the you know, flying down the screen of all these conversations that are going. And that's really what it boils down to. It's a bunch of conversations happening for a specific online event or tweet chat. And there's tons of resources in this article, really good for that. A lot of it gets into kind of measuring that stuff as well. I'm just a fan of having a live tweet chat event happening because it's a hashtag flowing through a whole bunch of streams that people can get connected to.
When you're watching The Voice or watching the new Game of Thrones or the season finale of Walking Dead or whatever it is you're watching, you can be part of this community, which is great. One great cautionary tale I have from this is that the risk of tweeting too much and losing followers that way. In the article, they talk about, you know, if you are live blogging, posting multiple tweets within an hour or within even a minute, you know, you have the potential to gain followers from that, and you will gain followers, but you're also going to lose a lot of followers who are just being burdened down by all this to them, which then might be spam Twitter posts, and they may unfollow you for that. So you have to kind of walk that fine line and not tweet too much, tweet compelling content, things like that.
Yeah, I see this happen a lot with some of the folks in my industry that I follow. I think Chris Brogan does it really well. He'll wait to do these like live tweet chats until like 8 o'clock at night, 7:30, like kind of after dinner, where you're not really searching on Twitter for anything important, or you know, you're not just sitting looking at it during the day. And then he'll just announce the heck out of it and just be like, in 10 minutes, I'm going to be blasting this hashtag out. 5 minutes, we're going to be having this live chat. You know, don't look at me if you're going to be upset that I have a whole bunch of tweets coming out. So he'll actively kind of warn his list that I'm going to be, you know, chatting for a lot here.
Great. Working over to another social media and also another article from SEO Moz this week. 2 articles from SEO Moz this week. Nothing wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with that. This is the marketing value of YouTube, and this comes from, again, Phil Nottingham. What I gleaned from this article is if your market has a presence on YouTube, so should you. This talks about the benefit of YouTube from embedding YouTube into, you know, Facebook, Twitter, places like that. All these websites have easy embeds, meaning if you post a link to YouTube on Facebook, it's going to immediately let people watch that video right from Facebook, so they don't have to leave their seat there on Facebook, and they can just be on there and watch your YouTube video, which is great. It's also, I mean, this is sort of kind of obvious stuff coming out of my mouth here, but it's maybe not practiced as much as it should be, because this is where people go to learn how to do things. You know, if I want to learn how to do something and I need a video tutorial for it, I'm going to YouTube. If I want to just veg out and watch some video content or watch some stuff for half an hour in my day, I'm going to go to YouTube. Right.
Yeah, and I think that, let's be honest here, our own YouTube marketing for this show, for Slogan Studio, has been the #1 most successful social media platform that we've used so far. #2 being Twitter, because we can have some really good conversations there. But this show and putting our knowledge out onto video, and hopefully next into podcasts and iTunes and Stitcher and all that fun stuff, you know, it'll continue to see success. But I think this is a great platform, and if people don't know that by now, where the heck have you been? And go back and watch the rest of our episodes. So go back and catch up.
We have a playlist, right? And YouTube serves 2 masters, because you can get that video content, but also you can just listen to it. You know, especially in a case like this where it's more podcasty in its nature, you could just kind of put on play, and even though it's a video, I can just listen to the audio while I'm doing other things. During my lunch break. You know.
Awesome. So Dan's pick of the day for his piece of awesome industry tools is 100 inbound marketing content ideas. So you have 1 through 100 of ideas for you to search through. This is a great piece over on marketingchris.com. Check it out in the show notes. Dan wants you to go through each and every one and report back to us to see which
please
one
don't.
Worked.
Suddenly we see screencast with screener next week, right now. But yeah, just go through it, and that gives you a lot of ideas, jumping off points for creating compelling content that people will come back to.
Awesome. So we hope you you know, like the new little twist in our setup for SEO lunch. We want to continue bringing you some of the best SEO and web marketing news from the week. Compile it all in about 15 minutes or less, so you can enjoy your lunch. And let us know in the comments if you want to see or hear anything else. Do subscribe. One plug, we do have a new WordPress 101 series in our playlist. So if you're somebody who's marketing with WordPress or creating WordPress sites or consulting with WordPress folks, it'd be a great, useful way to say, go look at that playlist, and they'll teach you how to make a post or a page, that kind of thing.
Yep, it's perfectly free to look at. It's on Learn WordPress, that playlist on our studio page.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, guys.